forward is approaching his goal. And the antagonist is closing in on our hero.
Paradise Water for 6
The mayflies of this year's reality show are sensationally provoking. And the drama in this drama, it's just too dramatic. We love it when there's absolutely no stop to the thrill, the anticipation, the excitement. When we can just relax, let go, and get absorbed into that other world. So, let go and follow your gut feeling. Go all in. For sports, for drama, for comedies, or action. You decide, we provide. Because we are hooked on captivating experiences, and we want to let you go all into the moment. Because at the end of the day, when we close our eyes and feel the result of the day deep in our soul, it's only moments that matter. Our purpose, to create moments that matter.
So I am Jonas, heading up Viaplay, which is a part of the Modern Times Group. I have been with the company for 9 years. I was previously heading up Viasat, which is our traditional pay TV offering, and changed to Viaplay 2 years ago. A very exciting digital transformation for myself as well. So when we look at Viaplay, today Viaplay is the leading Nordic OTT service. And when it comes to an OTT service, I think, irregardless of market, it really boils down to 3 things that you need to succeed on. And these 3 things are user experience. Whenever you come into a service, independent of device, you need to feel that this is a place where I want to stay. This is a place where I want to return to, and I want to spend my time with this service. As opposite to a traditional pay TV, where you have a lot of binding times, you need to deserve loyalty every time you come into the service, which is super fascinating and also super inspiring for us working with streaming services. Second one, which used to be in the past a big problem, is of course quality of service. When you come into the service and you want to start your sports broadcast or your film or your series or your kids show, it simply needs to work. If it fails on a click, then it's very quick to move over to either a piracy stream or to another service. So stuff just needs to work. Especially these days when you're pushing up more and more of the viewing into the big screen. Then you need to improve the quality of service and you need to have a higher bitrate, etc., etc. Okay, so you managed to do these 2 things, user experience and quality of service. It's a massive undertaking, it's very difficult. Then you need to have the third bucket, which is maybe the most difficult one. Because if you don't have the right content to fill it up with, well, you will not come back to the service. So when you manage to hit all these 3, then you can manage to grow and be a successful OTT player. And it is actually with great pleasure and with pride that we have now seen in all the surveys that we get from the consumers that it is clear in the Nordic market there are 2 OTT services standing out. It's Viaplay and it's Netflix. The other ones are far behind. On the top left you see the rating from the users in Android and iOS, where it's clear that we are leading ahead of the curve. Same goes for the one to the bottom left, which is the biggest customer survey in the Swedish market, where we, for the 2nd consecutive row, was announced the best streaming service in Sweden. We have also received the award for the best Apple TV app in all markets where we're present, which is Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. So in in really sharp competition, we managed to do this. We build everything in-house. All the stuff you see, we build in-house. Which is for us a big key to success, as this has enabled us to move fast, to take all the learnings we have from the consumers and push them into the product. Test, deploy all the time. We do releases every 6 hours on the platform, meaning that we can actually push, pull back. Don't have to wait for the big sprints. So I think one of the bearing principles for us to be successful is that we're part of the Modern Times Group. Modern Times Group started up as a disruptor, disrupting the public service monopoly, going into being the first ones launching new free TV channels with advertising on them in the late 80s. We have ever since been disrupting. Viaplay was actually launched in 2007 under the name of Viasat On Demand. Back then, people were saying, hey, what are you doing? You cannot cannibalize yourself. When our former CEO said, we have to do it, we want to do it, because otherwise someone else will do it. And we will find new customers out there who we don't reach today. So you can say that we continued our very platform agnostic approach. We want our content to be reached from wherever the customer wants to use it. And this has been really our bearing principle over the years. This has also meant this disruptive behavior that we have now moved into a lot of global plays where we are leading in esports, MCNs, and also in mobile gaming. So moving into new digital areas to continue growing and continue digitalizing the business. Pretty similar picture to what we saw before, and it is pretty satisfying that some of the stuff that we saw from Now TV is also going to pop up here. Otherwise, it would be a bit worrying. So we launched already back in 2007, and then we did a big relaunch in 2011, saying, okay, now we go all in. Now we have capabilities that are good enough to really, really push. So Viaplay was launched in 2011. And I think the length of this journey has been important because we have made so many mistakes. The service, to be honest, was not that great back in the beginning of 2010. Now it is a super service, but it has taken some time. And it is a very difficult area to be able to connect all these different points of quality to be able to deliver a full-fledged quality service. One of our key features, which we launched very early, was the offline mode. You can download stuff to your device and then bring it on the go. We launched that already back in 2012. And today we have around 92% of all our content is downloadable. This has, of course, been a strategy for us to get the studios to accept that we have the download rights. Therefore, that has also been important to do that for a long time, to get these rights and then to develop a good interface and to get the customers to use it. Customers love that feature. Next step, big step we took was now in 2016, where we launched the very first Viaplay original, where we have started to produce content solely for the Viaplay platform. I will come back to that later. We also did a month ago, as far as we know, as the first Nordic and maybe also the first European streaming service, we broadcasted sports in 4K, Ultra HD. It requires that you have a very good connection, which a lot of Nordic people have, and it gives you a super experience in the big screen. So we are now, entering into that area and see how we can take that even further on. We have seen over the last years strong momentum. We have since Q1 13 until Q3 16, we have almost quadrupled our customer base, at the same time increasing revenues 5 times, meaning that we actually managed to get the customers both to sign up and also to accept and spend more money with us. And that is, of course, a combination you want to see. We have had an enormous development on started streams, 17 times up compared to Q4 2012. On the back of 2 things, of course, a growing customer base, but also the customers using more and more of our content. This is something we love to see because that means that they become more loyal, more interested in promoting us to others. So we push hard on making them use more and more categories and also making them use more and more devices to watch our content. The Nordics as a market is a market which is pretty much ahead of the curve when it comes to digitalization. And if we look at the SVOD subscriptions, you see that all 4 Nordic countries are on the top 5 list, only beaten by the US. It is forecasted that already in 2021, Denmark will be number 1 when it comes to SVOD subscriptions per population. The background of this is that in the Nordics, we have a very high degree of connected homes. Number 1 in connected homes, and also mobile broadband was very early built out. The high capacity, meaning that you can actually consume the stuff also out of your home, which is of course one of the most important things with the streaming service. The market is forecasted to grow at around 20% per year going forward from a very heavy growth. We see that it will continue at the pace of 20% per year, driven by both SVOD, but also electronic sell-through and TVOD. And the growth comes from 2 things. Penetration per household increasing, but also number of subscriptions picked up by each household. We saw that in the previous slide, and we see that very much in the Nordics as well. People tend to have more than one SVOD service. So dwelling a bit into the user experience and the quality of service, what we have today is a presence on 90% of all connected devices in the Nordics. This is important to us because we want to be where the consumers are, but we do not want to be on devices that are not good enough to cater for a good experience. We do not want to be on devices that cannot use our key features such as continue watching, push next episode, and star mark. They need to be coherent across all platforms. This has meant that we are not present on any set-top boxes in the Nordics because the older set-top boxes were simply not good enough to cater for a good experience. And it was very cumbersome for us to develop the application, build native apps for all set-top boxes. That wasn't worth the price. And very few customers in the Nordics actually asking for it, calling us and saying, hey, why are you not on the set-top box? They indulge themselves into the other devices that we could offer. When we look at what we have done, you see a similarity to Now TV, where we have a specific kids universe. We believe in that kids need to have an easier access to the content and another way of being inspired. We're working very hard on improving the big screen experience. There is an explosion in usage on big screens. Looking at the quality of service, we have 99.98% uptime year to date, 2017. We of course want to be at 100%, very difficult, but we're close to it. We do broadcast more than 15,000 live events of sports every year, putting a lot of demand on the platform and all the components in it. We have 25,000 titles of movies and series. We have, as we have increased subscribers and increased quality, we also see that the customer service-related tech incidents are going down massively, 70% down per user since 2 years ago. Taking a quick look at the content piece. We do live sports, we do SVOD, and we do EST and TVOD. We believe in giving the customer the option to choose where do you want to consume stuff. Do you want to consume it early? You can pay a bit more to get it on EST, or can you wait till it comes into rental, or do you want to wait till it comes into subscription? We do all of them. We have a massive lineup of sports rights. We have 60% of all exclusive first pay deals in the Nordic market, and we have all major studios on the EST and TVOD. But we felt this is not good enough. We need to do something that is more local, more Nordic. So therefore, around half a year ago, we moved into originals. So creating original stories coming from the Nordics. When we look for those projects and whatever content we look for, we're looking for the great stories. The stories that we think our users will love. They might come from the US, being acquired, but there are also so many great stories coming from the Nordics. I know in the UK you've seen a lot of them, very popular also outside of the Nordics. But there are so many good stories that we felt, okay, we really want to dwell in to doing the originals, to create content that you can relate to even closer as a Nordic user. This means that we also now have a very mixed content portfolio of local stuff combined with the acquired piece, both backward-leaning viewing and forward-leaning viewing, which is something that attracts our users. We see that the stuff that we have launched when it comes to the originals has been highly successful, more successful than the average top acquired shows that we buy from the US. And these are the big US shows. So very anticipated and waited for the original stuff. Our customers love it. We have some 50 projects in the pipeline to be pushed out up until 2020. And it's a fantastic journey to be on. And it's so exciting to create the content ourselves as well, to be able to influence and create stuff that we know that our customers will love. So I will round off by showing you some of the stuff we've done in the originals.
Jag är fan inte klar.
I feel it too.
Are you ready on sound? Action!
Du ved, hvad der sker!
Det blir lite väl mycket nu tycker jag.
Jag bara gör det.
This is the part where I do this. Wanker.
Thank you.